So with this song, you know, I've talked a lot in the past about my like love for Halloween, my love for horror movies, and just all of that. Like that's like where my like heart like resides. So I knew this year I really just wanted to put out something that embodied the spirit of Halloween and like just brought like the fun of like trick-or-treating and just everything that you think of when you think of that holiday. And it helped that when I was on Drag Race, I somehow stumbled into this catchphrase, which was the word boo, because I had a character that was a ghost. So like my initial thought was like, I'm gonna take that word, that catchphrase, and like make it into like a whole thing. So yeah, that's why I ended up like titling the song Boo and just kind of going with the whole Halloween vibe.
It's one of those things where when I had started drag, I originally was just like, I'm not putting out any music. I don't want to be one of those people. But when she released Geen, I was just like, this is really good. And I'd love to be part of that with you someday. And before you know it, we've worked our way up to here. She wrote a lot of the song. She wrote my verse, actually. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
I'm not a songwriter. So she wrote my verse, and she was just like, hey, I'm working on this song. It'd be really cool if you would be part of it. I wrote you a verse, and after a little bit of tweaking, because I was like, I wouldn't say some of that stuff, and she changed some of the lyrics. It was like, oh, this is really cool, and I'd love to be part of that.
I was excited to meet both Aiden and Zhane in person, and it really went by so smoothly. I was very impressed with the way vocals were recorded. Like any suggestions or like vocal tones were very easily picked up upon, and I'm sure that's because of all of the different voices and characters that you have to embody with drag, and I'm very thankful that that was so easy. I mean, incredible rhythm, incredible tones, really very impressed.
I really enjoy the recording process, like laying down like vocals and whatnot. I think it's like super fun to just hear yourself like over the music, like doing it, you know, putting things together. But I don't know, I had fun.
It was a new experience for me. I've never recorded any music whatsoever. So going into that experience, it can be a little bit jarring. Like, oh, I have to hear my voice. Like most people hate hearing their voices.
Yeah.
So it was really an experience for me, but it really worked itself out, and I'm really happy with the end product.
The biggest part of recording vocals is just making sure that somebody is comfortable. And recording vocals especially is such an intimate thing. So I like to ensure that everybody feels like they can be completely themselves before we even start. And once we're able to hit that point, the rest usually just comes very quickly.
Just going into any new experience can be like a little jarring at first, but I think Jessie did a really good job at like making me feel very comfortable and just helping me out, like kind of showing me by example and things like that were very, very good examples.
I think when he was listening to his verse back, he was feeling it a little bit more than he thought he was going to. So
I think I was just more nervous when I was going in at first. Like, I don't know how this is going to go. And then when it worked, I was like, oh, wow, this is great.
It started back before we even arrived with Jessie just sort of coming up with a few different like ideas for like where we could take the song, and sort of just coming to a mutual like decision on which one was going to be the one. And even before I got here, there was one of the tracks, like immediately upon hearing it, like I could hear the chorus I had written like with the track. So I was like, that has to be like the one.
This instrumental that we ended up using for the track was actually written because I got in a car accident. So I tried to like embody all the feeling of like what it felt like to get into a car accident, and I knew it would be just the perfect like kind of spooky, uneasy feeling that Aiden and Zhane needed on a song, and somehow it all worked out.
Was just like a few like parts in the song that with the actual like beat of the song, we just had to switch around a few lyrics. I remember in one of the, I think it was the chorus, one of my first lines, like the whole chorus like rhymes, and in the first lines for whatever reason, when I had written it, the first line didn't rhyme like the rest of it. So we ended up just switching that around to make it rhyme like the rest of it. There was a portion of the song where we wanted to get like different like screams and whatnot that we could maybe like implement into the track. And one of the methods that Jesse used was putting the mic super low to the floor and having Saint and I both sort of spaced out screaming at the floor to get this sort of certain sound. So yeah, that was interesting.
I'd have to say breathing into the mic was interesting.
Just long, drawn-out breaths. Yeah.
Scalp high.
And if they've listened to the track, they'll know exactly what Jesse's talking about. But I wanted to achieve something that was super Halloween-y, super like kind of campy, but like just gave you those like complete like fall, you know, feelings and whatever. So yeah, I think the overall product like came out pretty much like exactly kind of the way that I had envisioned it to begin with.